this very magical Wednesday. I know we have all had questions about what the heck is Disney Genie? What the heck is Genie Plus? Well, we're going to try to answer some of those questions on today's episode. So stay tuned. Kara and I are going to give you all the information that we can possibly give you. I hope you guys enjoy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another magical episode of the Why We Disney podcast. I am here with my amazing co-host, Kaycee.
Hello, hello.
Guys, we are so excited because we are going to talk about a very up-and-coming topic, something that is going to be new to the Disney parks, right? And I almost want you to tell you to get your notes out, because I don't know about y'all, I don't know about you, Kaycee, but when I'm talking about this, it seems like an SAT test.
Legitimately, it does. Yes.
As if, they were talking about, let's make Disney more flexible. We want our audience we want our customers to come in and be flexible, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, this seems complicated, right? And if you don't know what we're talking about, that's right. Today we are bringing up the Disney Genie, the Disney Genie Plus, and Lightning lanes. There's 3 vocabulary words if you didn't already get that. Yeah, so this is going to be a paid, did you get that? Paid Fastpass system that's now coming to the Disney parks. And there's going to be 2 separate ways that you can kind of reserve a time in line. And they will both require payment. So there is going to be like your standard free version, but then putting a time in line is going to require that payment. Now, this is going to be something different to the Disney world and the Disneyland community. This is something that we're not used to, but it's probably important, Kaycee, that we talk to our viewers first about the Disney Genie.
Yes. So the baseline, right? Like, we no longer have fast passes anymore. Like, this is just what it's going to be moving forward. We need to just talk about the baseline, right? Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So that's going to be the Disney Genie. So what this is a free feature that will be available on the My Experience app. Okay. So this is going to help you create your itinerary, project future wait times, which I think is actually going to be really helpful, by the way. Just my opinion there. Okay. And you're going to have access to your mobile ordering system like normal. And there's going to be a little bit more features that they haven't like fully released out yet. But what's cool that I read about is you're also going to be able to be paired with a virtual like assistant. So if you're in the middle of your day and you kind of need to ask a quick question like, hey, what time does the monorail stop running tonight? Or, gosh, I'm not going to be able to make my dinner reservation. What do I need to do? Who do I need to call? And it's kind of like a chat system is how I read. And they'll be able to answer your question right away. And then you can move forward from there. So I think that actually is going to be beneficial. Do you not think?
It could be. I'm still skeptical. I have a lot.
I agree. I agree. So I am, and I wanted to mention this in your section, but while we're mentioning being like spectacle, right? I said that word right. Yeah, I did. Have we put a whole lot of faith and trust into the My Disney Experience app most days on our phone?
As long as I have signal, yes.
Yeah, so much. We're so reliant on the My Disney Experience app, and I can't tell you how many times it's crashed on me in the parks. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to make a dinner reservation and it's like, why is it still spinning like this? Why do these buttons not work? So the Disney IT is a little disappointing. So I'm hopeful, but at the same time, like, you don't have a very good track record, Disney. Sorry about it. Okay, well, let's keep moving on. So the Disney Genie is said to enhance your experience and take the pressure off of planning your trip, like that heavy spreadsheet planning, which Kara loves to do, and she's totally fine with doing that.
Yes, I love it.
So what I thought was really cool about another thing, just the baseline Disney Genie, is personalized Disney trips. So Kara, I know, so I have shampoo and conditioner that I've like personalized to my hair color, right? We can get food ordered to our houses that's personalized to our like dietary issues, right? I know that you probably had to take like a hair quiz and it's like, what are your hair goals? We'll, customize it to exactly what you need. Well, Disney has jumped on this train now and they're saying, well, before you come on your trip, I want you to take like a Disney quiz, like how old are your family? If you have 2 5-year-old girls, are you really going to want to do princess stuff? If your family is like heavy Star Wars fans, like know every single fact, like they're going to set you up and recommend some things like, hey, you guys probably need to go to Oga's Cantina. Like it's going to give you those recommendations and those restaurant recommendations that you probably wouldn't have unless you had a really good travel agent. So all of the baseline things with Disney Genie, in my opinion, is actually really promising. But then you have like us that love everything. So I don't know. I feel like Disney Genie would probably tell me like, you don't have enough days. Sorry, you're not gonna be able to get everything.
I do. I need to take a moment and not pause, but I want to discuss this personalized Disney trips thing because it really, really gets to me. Because for me, I have my 16-page color-coded document of exactly what I want to do, right? And that's a part of why Disney, the whole point of this podcast. Like I love the planning to get to Disney because it reminds me that, you know, we can still add a little magic to our day and I can think about Disney and my trip and be happy. And now you're telling me I can't think about my trip until the actual trip. That's sad. What a gloom. Also, this personalized
thing for you.
Gosh. And then this personalized thing, what is that going to do to the travel agent, that whole business? Because people that primarily use travel agents are people that have not traveled to Disney and don't really know how it works yet. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, is this going to put some of Disney travel agents out of business? Because
oh my gosh, Kara, I never thought about that.
You know, Kara, always here to look at the dark side. But and it's just something that I'm considering because I have a couple of travel agent friends and I'm thinking to myself, wow, like how are they going to compete with this new personalized system? And those people that do want to be more flexible aren't going to want travel agents to think about things ahead of time. And it's just really that one specific part of the free version that Disney Genie is going to be really interesting to me.
Wow. You're making my mind spin, Kara. Geez Louise. So, and we've only talked about the baseline. We've only talked about the free option. Let's go ahead and jump into actual Disney Plus. Kara, take it away. I'm super excited to have a conversation about these things.
Yes, I hope that you guys are looking down at our episode chapters because we've just moved from the Disney Genie, the free service, to now the Genie Plus, which is not to be confused with Fastpass Plus or anything else, or Park Hopper Plus, any of these Disney quotes or vocab words that we have. This is now a secondary paid service. It's going to be replacing Fastpass at Walt Disney World and MaxPass over in Disneyland. So our West Coast friends are going to have to deal with this as well. What this is going to do, Kaycee, and I really have to wrap my brain around this, is to allow guests to bypass the standby line.
Right.
And they can return at a return time. So it's not, the 60 days in advance picking a time. Day of, you're going to pick your return time, and it's going to be based on a flat rate. So over at Walt Disney World, it's $20 per person per day, and at Walt Disney World, it is $15 per person per day. That's for the baseline. They're saying it's about, they haven't come out with the rides yet, but they're saying it's going to be about 15 rides over at Disneyland and 40 rides between all the Walt Disney World parks. So that's a lot, right? But then now instead of the fast pass queue, you're now going to have the Lightning lane. So that's where you're going in when you return for that return time. So all of new stuff. Oh my gosh. It's so hard to wrap my brain around. So it's a return time. It's on Genie Plus, but then you have to go and get the thing with $15 per day times 12. And then you know what? I'm just thinking about it. I have to think it through.
Yeah.
So that's that. So it is going to include those fast pass downloads, which is really nice. There's some like unique audio experiences and a bunch of other stuff that you're going to be able to get with this $15 per person per day or $20 per person per day. So you're really going to have to determine for you and your family, if it's good for you, what you guys are thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
So what you guys are going to do is select a return time for as many attractions as you like. let's start. Magic Kingdom opens at 8:00, right? Go pick a return time, 8:15. Boom. Okay. As soon as you scan in, pick another one. And as soon as you scan in, pick another one. That is like the old Fastpass system. And apparently this is what really gets me, that Disney based this decision off of their surveys and guest relations and descriptions, that they found that their guests didn't like planning 60 days in advance, and that their guests wanted more flexibility. But I want that survey breakdown. I really do. Because who are they serving? Is it all Florida residents?
No,
Like,
surely not.
Florida residents, because they already get all this other stuff and the good ticket sales. Because if it's all Florida residents, of course they don't need to plan 60 days in advance. They have the gold pass or the Incredi Pass or whatever it is. And so they're going a little bit more often. And me, I'm just like, I get to go to Disney maybe once a year. So I love planning ahead of time. So it's just interesting to me that they based it off these surveys.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are kind of, in a way, like ripping the rug out from under Disney travel agents who really, like, instead of taking like a personalized quiz or like recommendations, like they're just kind of giving that to you. I don't know. But there is some stuff that's included that is very cool. Like you mentioned, the audio experiences, the photo pass downloads. I mean, like, I knew they would do it like a catch-22. Like, yes, like we're taking some things away, but look at this, like we're also adding some things too. So I knew they would do it that way.
Yeah, that's what they do. And Kaycee and I, we might seem a little, well, I'm not even gonna speak for Kaycee. I might seem some type of way about this. But I really am interested to see how it's going to be in practice for the majority of families. And we should probably let you know how this is going to work for our listeners and viewers. So here's the thing. You can add the Genie Plus. Now, remember, this is not the Genie. That's not the already, the free service. The Genie Plus, the paid system, ahead of time. But you cannot make your selections until the day of. Okay, so make sure you get that. It's not like Fastpass anymore. You don't get to wake up all happy 60 days in advance and hope that you get your favorite rides. You have to wait until the day of and do one. That's it.
And it's one at a time, right? So after you use that one, then you get another one. After you use it, then get another one. It puts everybody on the same playing field, though.
I almost feel like that causes more stress and more planning, because it's like, okay, we just went to, Peter Pan's flight. Where are we going next? Where are we going next? Blah, blah, blah. You don't have those set times. Here's our top 3 rides that we got our fast passes for. And then everything else is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
You really got to plan where you're going. I hope you know which way of the circle that you've taken, because you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
So our World friends, you can start making those selections at 7 a.m. I believe this is anywhere on Disney World property. You can start making those, just kind of like our boarding passes. Now, our Disneyland guests, as of right now, when we're recording this, you can only book them once you are physically in the park. So understand the differences there between our East Coast and West Coast friends and how that whole Disney Genie Plus system works. That's for the baseline, guys. If you're paying that 20 or that 15 per person per day, that is what you're getting. But of course, Disney's going to allow us to have more opportunities. Look at all this magic. And by magic, we mean additional charges that they can offer. And Kaycee, I'd love you to kind of talk about those more popular rides that people could get on with this.
Yes, absolutely. So now, and like Kara said, this is not Genie Plus. This is not the Disney Genie baseline, right? This is in addition to those things, okay? So the most popular attractions will be an upcharge, okay? And you can make 2 of these selections per day, okay? So this is not included in Genie Plus. I about said Disney Plus. What's going on? Oh my gosh. Okay. And you pay for these rides. You pay per ride, okay? Which I'm almost slightly, let's be honest, like the one ride that I can think of right now that like, okay, I would be willing to pay additional just to ride this ride is Rise of the Resistance. Like I would really just love an opportunity to like no doubt you are riding this ride. I can appreciate this option that you pay per ride. Okay. So the cost will vary based on the date and the ride, and also like the demand of that ride. So if like Rise of the Resistance, if that's what you're gunning for, like you just need to know that that is going to be a really, really high demand ride. It might actually be more expensive than the rest of these. Okay. And this is similar. I wanted to mention too, this is similar to what they do in Disneyland Paris, which I would really love to dig into some research in Disneyland Paris and how they're doing things over there. Wouldn't that be cool?
I think we need to do a price comparison.
Yeah.
And put it from Euro dollars into US and how much their rides would be.
Noted. We're going to do that. So far, these rides a few of these rides have been announced. So you have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom, obviously one of the longest waits in Magic, right? And then you have Radiator Springs and then Web Slingers at Disney's California Adventure. Then obviously you have Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios, and then Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot. So those are going to be those really high demand rides that's not included in the Disney Plus. You have to pay additional for those rides if you want to make sure to skip the line and go to the front. So those are some additional charges, and it's a lot. It's a lot to think in. And for my mind, like it's a lot to think about, especially when you make your selections day of and you scan into the park and you're like, let's go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because it's the longest wait typically. And it's actually an extra one if you want to skip the line. Potentially you need to rope drop that. Go ahead, Kara.
You don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just
No.
like, I really can't even fathom. I can't imagine having to wait until the day of, like you waited all year to go to this Disney vacation. And what if you're going, like I go over Easter break, I'm a teacher. That's the only time I can go. And the surge prices over Easter break, we know are crazy already for hotels and ticket prices. And just imagine if it's like $15 per person to ride Rise.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one ride. It blows my mind, but you know, people are going to pay for it. And those people include us. So
I was going to say, Kara and I, you know, for you guys listening, we were talking about this earlier, and it's like, gosh, I want to be the one to stand up and be like, no, I won't do it. I won't pay. But guess who's probably going to be the first one in line paying to ride Rise of the Resistance? That's probably going to be me. It's probably going to be Kara. It's probably going to be Sydney or anyone else, you know? So it's one of those things. But guys, you need to truly consider this. I know they're taking away a lot of the planning aspect behind Disney, but you need to sit down with your family and talk about like, okay, what rides are really important to us? Is Genie Plus worth it? It's going to be different for every single trip and for every single family. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that to make Disney worth it, you have to absolutely get Genie Plus and you have to absolutely get all of these rides. Like, we're not going to sit here and tell you that. It's based on your family. It's based on your trip, however many days you're there. You just really have to evaluate that and figure out if it's for you, right?
absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's going to be a playing field now. It's going to be interesting.
For sure. Well, guys, listen, we have so much more for you. So stick with us. Right after this ad break, we will be right back.
Hey everyone, we are back with some questions and answers. I know so many of you have some very valuable questions when it comes to Disney Genie, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, this and that. And honestly, if we do not get to this question here, go ahead and put it in the comments. Go ahead and message us on Instagram, email us. We would love to answer anything for you. But Kaycee, do you want to get started with some questions for our listeners?
Let's do some Q&A. I'm feeling it because a ton of us have a lot of questions. So let's go ahead and get the major ones out of the way.
Some of us, including me, I'm telling you, I had to do research on some of this because, you know, they release things like new system is coming. And then a month later, they're like, here's one feature. And then like, here's some details. So it takes a while to get the information out. But the first one, and people are probably curious about, is our annual pass holders and our magic key holders. Are there discounts for these individuals? Right. At this time, no discounts have been announced. So I'm sorry to all my APs and Magic Keys, but there's nothing in it for you. I believe there's also nothing for DVC members at this time. So you're paying full price, just like the rest of us scroungely people. I'm honestly shocked. I thought annual pass holders were I feel like they just get an automatic 10% discount on everything. So that did come as a surprise to me.
Yeah, same. I had this very same question. As soon as they released the prices, I was like, well, I wonder if I get a discount, but we have not heard anything. So it's looking like it's going to be a no. So, and I have this is a side question. I'm so sorry. So side question, have they actually released like what dates, like, okay, this is effective? All I read today was the fall. So no date even.
There's no way it's happening on October 1st.
I was going to say, if it's October 1st and they didn't prepare us at all.
We do record 2 weeks out, just so our listeners know. So it hasn't been October 1st yet, but I cannot see it happening within that first week because there's already too much craziness happening. Maybe like the 7th, the 8th, or like, okay, now everyone switch over. But again, that's like learning a whole new platform. I feel like November would really be the first time as of right now for them to drop it, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be fair. Well, so another question that you guys might have is, do you have to use Genie Plus every single day? Okay, you have to use it every single day. Disney has announced that if you purchased ahead of time, you do have to purchase for each park day that you have. I actually thought it would be beneficial, and I would actually have recommended people to maybe, like, if you are trying to do a cheaper trip, just do Genie Plus for your Hollywood Studios day. Like, wouldn't you recommend that, Kara?
Absolutely.
Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
At least over in Disney World. I don't know, the high demand. I mean, maybe Disney's California Adventure with Avengers Campus and all that stuff.
Well, it's going to be interesting because Web Slingers is already going to be on the Lightning Lane.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not sure about the West Coast. That's going to be interesting, but we will definitely have some reporters over there that are showing you guys all that information on the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. So as of now, that is a hard, it's looking like you have to purchase it every single day that you have an official park day. So another kind of letdown, but what's another one?
Well, this is kind of like some advice. If you don't purchase it ahead of time, you can purchase it the day of your trip, like Kaycee was saying. So, even if you guys are like, I don't know about this, but then it seems something of interest to you, the second day, you're like, okay, let's just get it for that specific day. Let's just get it for Hollywood Studios. Or if you have a week-long trip and you're going to the park twice, maybe you don't want to use it the first time and you do the second time. Now, again, the pricing is interesting to me because even with our photo pass, they're like, book now, book early and save $10. You know what I mean? So I'm even wondering if that's going to be something. Save 10% if you book early. I don't see that being a thing, but I'm interested to see if they come out with that official answer.
Yeah, that's actually going to be really interesting. So,
yeah, I don't know about that.
All right. So how many rides can you get out of the regular Genie Plus experience? Okay, so it's been announced over 40 rides in Walt Disney World and 15 in Disneyland. Keep in mind, Disneyland is only 2 parks, where Disney World is a total of 4 parks. So you're obviously going to have quite a bit more attractions over in Disney World. But yeah, so that's how many you can get. There's the regular Genie Plus is around 40 at Walt Disney World, and then 15 over in Disneyland. Fair.
So you really want to make sure, if you're going with a younger kids that maybe can't ride like Rock and Roller Coaster or Radiator Springs or things like that.
Right.
Can't use the Lightning Lane anyway. So maybe you just need the flat rate, the $15 to go on. There's more family friendly rides. Yeah. Again, it's all up to you guys. And talk about this, I have a 4-year-old kid. Does the whole party need it? Technically, no. If a member of your family is not a big ride person, they don't need the service. Meanwhile, then they have no access to the Lightning Lane. So if everyone's going on It's a Small World and you got a return time for It's a Small World, grandma can't go with you because she doesn't have the pass. Sorry, grandma. So just, it's almost like a betting game at that point. Because if this is, which I don't understand, it's going to predict future wait times.
Yeah.
Well, the rides break down all the time. So not all the time, but they break down every once in a while. So I don't trust the predicting, because how is the predicting even going to be right when sometimes the standby wait lines are not even correct?
Yeah. And most of the times they're not correct.
And that I feel like that's just false advertisement to me. Like, we're going to predict, that's like predicting the weather. The weather's always wrong anyway. So that's not really a buy in my end. But if you want to plan your vacation around that, go right ahead. But I will say grandma cannot ride It's a Small World if she did not get, the Genie Plus. No return time for anyone that doesn't get it.
Well, grandma can ride it, but she's going to have to wait in the standby line for 35 minutes while you guys go to the front of the line.
Thank you for clarifying that, Kaycee.
Poor grandma waiting in the standby line, watching her family go.
Hi guys, it's a small world.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think we have one more here, right? Can you buy only upcharges and not the whole Genie Plus system? Yes, I'm actually excited to say that yes, you can just do your 2 rides that you pay per person per ride, and you do not have to include the Genie Plus system. So that's actually really positive, and that's probably something that I will do pretty frequently, if I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to put it out into the universe right now. I don't know how y'all vacation at the parks, but Animal Kingdom, Everest and Pandora, Flight of Passage,
Yeah.
And then Epcot, Soarin' and Frozen.
Yep.
I could wait in line for the rest of the rides in those parks. I really could. So I don't think personally that I'll be buying the Genie Plus, get your vocab right, Kara, the Genie Plus on the days that I go to those 2 parks, because I'm really only concerned about hitting the big rides that are going to be on the Lightning lanes.
That makes sense. And now for me, at least for Epcot, it would be Frozen and Remy's, as long as it's not a virtual queue. Right.
That's true.
But yeah. So really cool, guys. Those are some quick Q&A. I know that we've read a ton of articles, and obviously I would think it'd be cool if we could link a video to just some more information that we got from Disney. And I think that it's just really beneficial just to look at these things before your trip and kind of be familiar with the vocabulary and the lingo, right, that they're going to be using. I think it'd be beneficial just to keep reading about this stuff, keep asking your travel agent about it, make sure you're fully aware before you head over to Disneyland or Disney World, right?
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, so let's talk about some numbers, right? Okay. Before we round out this podcast, let's just kind of give people a ballpark idea of what it's going to look like, at least for a family of 4. Okay. Throw a lot of numbers at you. Okay. So for Walt Disney World, so not Disneyland, Walt Disney World, right? For a family of 4, you have 4 days, 1 park per day, right? So for 4 people, $15 a day for 4 days, that's $240. That's just for Genie Plus, right? If you do decide to upgrade and add 2 additional rides for $10 for 4 people, that's $80 in addition. So rounding it out total, right? It's $325 for a family of 4 for Genie Plus and the 2 additional rides per park per day, right?
Yep.
Okay. $320. I'm going to mention it again, I'm sure, but that is not including admission. So you still have to pay I think the average ticket price right now is like $155, $159.99. I think that's what it is. So per person, per park, right? And then additional $325 on top of that for a family of 4.
That's literally 2 extra days in the park.
That's exactly what it is. It's 2 extra days in the park. This is before you've ate, before you've done anything, right? $320. And again, you don't have to do both. We spoke about that earlier. So if you feel like it's more important to do 2, to add the 2 upcharge additional rides, then that's cool. Don't do Genie Plus and just do that. So again, evaluate your family. Let's talk about Disneyland for a second, because it is a little different. the price per day is more expensive at Disneyland. So for 2 days, one park per day, for 4 people at $20 for 2 days, that's $160. That's just for Genie Plus. Again, if you decide to upcharge the 2 additional rides, $10 a ride for 4 people, that's another $80. So total now, not including park admission, you're looking at $240 additional on top of your trip for Genie Plus and the additional 2 rides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, like when you actually look at the numbers, I think a lot of their advertising are like, it's only $15 per person per day. But really, when you add the numbers up, like $320 and $240 addition onto your, look, I'm just me. I'm just one person.
And it's all in, again, how your family wants to vacation, because you could definitely take that money and do a bunch of other things. You could do experiences, you could do behind the scenes
Yeah.
tours. You could do, book Oogie Boogie Bash. You could do special events. And so it's what is important for you and your family and how you guys vacation.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say too, guys, if this is giving you way too much stress, I knew like a ton of numbers I just threw at you, and that's okay. Talk to your Disney travel agent. And we have actually partnered on the podcast with an incredible travel agent. She actually just got back from a Disney cruise. Loved following along with her on that. She's so dang cute. She does amazing work. And guys, her services are free. While you have to pay for Genie Plus and additional 2 rides, Hannah Little is our partner on the Why We Disney podcast. She would love to speak with you. I know that we will blast her information all over our social media. Do we know her email, Kara?
Not off the top, but I'll put it right here.
Yes. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll go ahead and put it on the screen for you. But she is an amazing person if you don't already have someone to contact about your Disney travels and all of those questions that you have. So really get in touch with those people. Let them give you the best advice for your family, right?
Absolutely.
And so the big question, Kara, is, are you going to purchase Genie Plus?
Well, luckily, I do not have a trip planned until...
Luckily?
Not luckily, but I'm able to kind of, they keep saying the fall, and right now I don't have a trip planned until possibly the spring. So I can hear the reviews, the this and that, the I'm going to do it, I'm not, I'll do it again, I won't. I'm going to be able to hear all of that before I make my final decision. But right now, looking at it, I would choose to wait until the day of, purchase it for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I think I've already said this earlier, but I think for me, for my family of just the 2 of us, me and my husband, I really think it's beneficial to not do Genie Plus and to just do the additional 2 rides for the 2 things that like are absolute must-dos on every trip. But for sure, it's going to be a conversation of topic for a very long time. So certainly we will see.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking that SAT test. I mean, going over Disney and Genie Plus with us, the Lightning Lane, and all the other vocabulary. Of course, we are going to have all of our resources on our Instagram. We're also going to have them in the YouTube description if you're watching our beautiful faces here. But don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, because we have a lot of information that comes out on there. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, email us with questions, and we will try to help you guys as much as possible so you can have a magical day.